My name is Ren. I have two sisters, Tally and Bix. We are 8 years old, and we are triplets. 11 hours ago, we were jumping on our trampoline in the backyard. Now we are sitting inside a strange spaceship, and somehow, the three of us are the ones in control of it. I want to write down everything that happened, because I think it will sound impossible later, even to us. It began with a soft blue light. It came down from the sky while Bix was doing her favorite trampoline trick, the one where she drops on her knees and bounces back up. The light smelled a little like static electricity. One moment we were laughing outside, and the next moment, we were floating inside a round white room. The room was quiet, except for a soft humming sound, like a refrigerator. 3 tall gray beings stood near us. They had large black eyes and smooth gray skin. At first, they had no mouths at all. Then, when they wanted to speak, a mouth would simply appear on their face, like magic. The tallest one spoke first. It said its name was Threll. Its voice was calm and steady, almost like it was reading from a script. It told us we had been chosen as young examples of an interesting new species, and that we should not be afraid, because nothing bad would happen to us. Tally, who always acts brave even when she is scared, put her hands on her hips right away. She told Threll that taking us without asking was not allowed, and that our mother would be very upset. She even said our mother was a lawyer, which is not true, but Tally says things like that when she wants to sound powerful. Threll did not react to the word lawyer at all. It simply turned and led us through a hallway, followed by 2 smaller gray beings named Osa and Kiv. They brought us into a bright room filled with strange machines. Screens glowed on every wall. Wires ran along the floor and up through the ceiling. The room smelled clean, almost too clean, like the inside of a hospital. It was the kind of room that made you want to touch everything, just to see what would happen. So, naturally, we touched everything. Here is something the aliens did not understand about us. They had picked 3 children who were very good at noticing small details, and very bad at staying still. Bix loves to take apart machines just to see how they work. She has opened our toaster many times at home, not because it was broken, but because she wanted to understand it. She has only put it back together correctly once, but she still tries every time. Tally remembers patterns extremely well. She can repeat long lists of numbers, or steps, or even random things she heard once, months ago. Once, she recited the entire order of snacks we bought on a road trip, word for word, 4 months after the trip happened. Our father had to ask her to stop, because it was almost too impressive to handle at the dinner table. And me? I don't get scared easily. My school counselor once said, I have a very low startle response, which sounds like something is wrong with me, but I think it is actually useful. While Osa placed a small bracelet on my wrist, explaining that it would check my body for something called cellular strength, I noticed something important. The bracelet had a tiny keypad with glowing buttons. It looked almost like a game. I did not say anything about it. I simply remembered it. After the scanning was finished, the aliens placed us inside a small holding room. Threll explained that they were preparing something called the evening meal protocol. At first, this sounded frightening, but then Threll explained it simply meant our dinner. Apparently, young specimens needed to eat on a regular schedule, or their results would not be accurate. That was a small relief, at least. The moment the door closed behind us, Tally walked straight to a wall panel covered in small symbols. She stared at it for only a few seconds before speaking. This is the same pattern as the bracelet on Ren's wrist, she said. 4 of these symbols already repeated. That means it's not random. They used the exact same code layout twice, because they never expected us to notice. I looked at my sister with surprise and pride at the same time. Meanwhile, Bix had already popped open a small panel in the floor using the edge of her shoe. She was reaching inside a bundle of soft glowing wires. These wires go somewhere important, she said, in the confident tone she always uses, the tone that suggests everyone else is simply behind her in understanding. It's just like our toaster, but bigger. Please don't hurt yourself, I said. I've never hurt myself, Bix replied, which was technically true, only because I had stopped her 3 separate times in the past. Using the pattern she memorized from my bracelet, Tally unlocked the wall panel in under 2 minutes. It did not open the door, but it caused the lights in the hallway outside to flicker and dim. Somewhere deeper in the ship, a low sound echoed, like a warning tone. We did not fully understand what we had done yet. We only knew that something had changed, and that this was usually the moment when the three of us became most unpredictable. A short while later, Asa came to check on the strange sound. It made the mistake of opening the door alone, without the others. I want to be honest. We did not have any real plan. We were simply following the same instinct we use on the trampoline, where you commit to jumping first and figure out how to land somewhere in the middle of the jump. Bix quickly tossed the loose floor panel toward the doorway. It was not meant to cause harm. It was simply a light piece of metal thrown near Osa's foot, but it was enough to make the alien lose its balance and stumble back with a surprised clicking sound. At the same moment, Tally, who had quietly been studying the layout of the hallway through the open door, grabbed a soft strap-like tool from Osa's belt. It looked similar to the material used to attach our bracelets earlier. Before Osa could fully stand up again, Tally had gently wrapped the strap around its wrists, the same way you might tie a shoelace, just enough to keep it from moving quickly. I did not do anything as exciting as my sisters. Instead, I focused on something quieter but very important. I picked up the small handheld device Osa had been using to check on us throughout the day. I pressed my thumb against the screen, then Tally's thumb, then Bix's thumb. I had noticed earlier that the device seemed to unlock for any of our fingerprints, not just one specific person. It was a small mistake on their part, but a very useful one for us, since they probably never expected their specimens to hold the device themselves. The screen unlocked, and suddenly, I could see a full map of the ship. "Guys," I said quietly, "I can see the entire ship from here." Tally looked up immediately. Bix stopped what she was doing with the wires. For a moment, none of us said a word, but somehow, we all understood the same thing at the exact same time, the way triplets sometimes do, without needing to speak. This was no longer only about escaping. This was about taking control of something much bigger. Not long after, Threll and Kiv arrived together, drawn by the alarm sound coming from the hallway. This turned out to be another mistake, because it meant they had left the meal preparation room completely empty. As it turned out, that room was connected to the same control system as almost everything else on the ship. Whoever had built this ship never imagined that 3 8-year-old children could gain access to it, using nothing but a floor panel, borrowed fingerprints, and a stolen tablet. Bix began adjusting the ship's power system, the same confident way she adjusts our toaster at home, humming softly to herself while she worked. Tally called out hallway names from the map, the same easy way she once recited a long list of road trip snacks. I stood quietly in the middle, holding the tablet with both hands. My hands were shaking slightly, even though my face, according to everyone who knows me, almost never shows fear. When Threll and Kiv finally turned the corner toward us, they discovered that gravity in that section of the hallway had been switched off. Bix had done this simply because she wanted to see what would happen. Both aliens floated gently upward, bumping softly into the ceiling, looking more confused than anything else. Tally used the same soft strap material to keep them gently in place near the ceiling, careful and thorough as always, making sure nothing was too tight or uncomfortable. She has always been the most careful one of the three of us, even in the middle of chaos. And that is exactly where we are now. 2 aliens floating gently near the ceiling, 1 alien sitting calmly against the wall, a stolen tablet that gives us full access to the ship, and a countdown timer for the meal protocol that I still have not figured out how to stop. That means technically, dinner for 3 humans is still happening in about 19 minutes. Threll, still floating near the ceiling, keeps repeating that this is an unexpected pattern of behavior. Tally keeps telling it that maybe they should have studied human children a little more carefully before choosing us. Bix is now deep inside a panel near the back of the ship, working on something she calls the warm wire, which she insists will lead us back home, although I am not entirely sure if that is real science or simply her confidence talking. I do not know for certain if we can truly fly this ship all the way home. I do not know if the warm wire is a real path or simply a 7-year-old strong feeling. But I do know one important thing. We are triplets, and once we decide, even in the middle of a jump, that we are going to win something together, we almost always find a way to make it happen. 19 minutes remain until dinner. With a little luck and a lot of teamwork, we might actually make it home in time to eat at our own kitchen table instead. As the ship hums quietly around us, I think about how strange this day has been. This morning, our biggest worry was, Who would get the last cookie after lunch? Tonight, we are somewhere far above our own house, learning how an entire spaceship works, simply because we refuse to sit still and wait for someone else to save us. Bix says she can feel the ship slowly turning, the way you feel a big swing change direction at the top of its arc. Tally is already memorizing new numbers from a screen near the front window, numbers she says might be coordinates. I keep holding on to the tablet, watching the little dot that represents our ship slowly moving across a giant, glowing map of space. For a moment, none of us speak. We simply sit together, three matching faces lit up by the soft blue light of the screens, feeling something between excitement and nervousness. Then Bix breaks the silence, grinning the way she always does right before trying something new. "Ready?" she asks. Tally nods immediately, already reaching for the controls Bix has been fixing. I take a deep breath, hold the tablet a little tighter, and nod too. Whatever happens next, we will face it exactly the way we have faced everything else since this morning. Together, as a team, and without ever giving up, no matter how impossible things might seem. The countdown continues. Somewhere far below us, our kitchen table is waiting, and I truly hope we make it home in time to sit around it again, safe, together, and finally back where we belong.